Did not let up.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be working on my 93 Jeep Grand Cherokee. We're going to be replacing this big old ugly bumper that's on here. This is the stock bumper, just underneath all of the plastic. It's been working, but it is ugly. You can see I've hit a tree over here, and it doesn't actually, I mean, it is just thin as can be. It doesn't actually serve any sort of bumpering. Over here you can see the supplies that I've decided to go with. I think I'm going to use this to box the frame in. This is just some 4x4, I don't know, 1/4 inch. It's pretty thick. And then this is some 1 3/4 HREW. Nothing fancy. Let's see what we can get going. Put you guys on a time lapse and go from there. Alright guys, meet my friend Justin. He just showed up to help out, and we've already ran into our first issue here. You can see I took this bolt out and that one came fine, but because of that dent that I was talking about, I don't know if you guys can be able to see this honestly because of all the light. Nope, you can't. Whatever. Anyways, you can't get this off, so I guess we're just gonna break out the Sawzall and get to cutting. Progress! Got it off. That was a bitch. Now we just gotta get these off and the hitch because we're not gonna need that anymore. And it looks like that's just 2 bolts right there. Get to it. Alright guys, we ran into problem number 2, which is apparently these bumper and hitch bolts are like attached with a nut on the inside that I don't know how you're supposed to get to. I don't know if you can normally get through it and I just have the frame plates so you can't. I don't know, but we decided to cut them off. You can see we've already successfully done one over here and it came right off. Yeah, and here you can see the nuts on the inside. That's on the inside of the frame, so I don't know how they expect you to get to those. But we'll cut this one off and then we'll go from there. Alright, we ran into another problem, and that is the hinge here. You can see the nuts and bolts where it bolts on. They just stick down too far because I want this beam to sit on this ledge here to give me something nice to weld to, but it hits the top of that. And I've already trimmed them. So I think what we're gonna do is I think I'm gonna weld the hinge on right here. Because I know that the hatch closes. I mean, I've had this thing for a while now. So weld that on, then I can trim the bottom off and hopefully it'll fit up then. We're also having a little trouble because you can see there's a little bulge right here. You know, it wants to sit flat up against this. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do about that yet, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. made some progress. Let's see here. So you can see my not fantastic welds. Sorry, it's Jeep metal. Anyone who's ever welded one of these knows that struggle. And you can see that we've trimmed those off. So we have all the room in the world now, and the hatch still shuts. So that's good. So all we have left to do now is these stupid little, I don't know what you even call them, little out dents or something. It's definitely keeping it from sitting flat. So we're trying to come up with a solution for that. I'm not sure what we're gonna do. Honestly, we may end up just cutting them out and then just reinforcing it a lot more than I wanted to originally, because I don't want it to rip off when I'm towing somebody, or they're towing me. So yeah, I don't know. We'll let you know what we do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so what we did was cut some slits right here in the bumper, as you can see, so we could hammer it back, because we just couldn't do it. And Chris got his fair share of workout in because he had that big sledgehammer there because it just wouldn't budge.
That shit is heavy, let me tell you what.
So yeah,
now we set it up there and it all fit pretty good. So we took some measurements and now we got to trim it down. You can see here I've got a little super haggard Sharpie mark on there. I gave myself an inch of room or so just to in case I mess up, and get it trimmed. And then I'm gonna want to take a plate, go on the outside of it, and butt up against this plate here, just to give it a little extra strength and to cover up these empty ends here which look ugly. So that's the plan for right now. All right, boys and girls, we've made some progress here. Been a lot of trimming, a lot of beating stuff with a hammer, but it's starting to take shape here. So you can see we have it lined up with the frame on both sides. We have it cut to size. Obviously it's not welded on yet, as Justin's sitting here holding it. But that's pretty much the next step, is to break out the welder. I guess we should probably clean the metal first. That's always a good thing to do. So you can see I've got the frame all cleaned up here. I got it all grind down. It's super thin as always, and I just don't feel comfortable welding my bumper that's gonna be yanked onto that. So instead, just like I've done with the rest of the unibody, is I'm gonna cut out a plate to plate this first, weld that on, then we'll put this onto here. You can see I've got this edge all cleaned up to weld, so we can weld the whole bottom of it. And then from there, once we have the box on there, I'll build a plate to go onto the already plated frame. And that should be plenty strong at that point. All right, I thought I'd show you guys a little bit of the process here. So what I've done is I took a piece of cardboard and I just kind of stuck it up there like that. And then I took a Sharpie on this side and I just kind of drew lines. That ended up with this super elaborate square, which I then placed onto my, what is this, 1/8 inch plate, and traced it out. Now we're gonna cut that out and weld it on.
all right. So now we got the frame plate cut out, which goes under here, down where the bumpers needs to go. And he's got his fancy old drill table here that's been in the family for generations. As you can see, it works out pretty dang good.
Used and abused. No need for a fancy fucking drill press. What are you doing, Justin?
Trying to do kick flips on your bumper there.
Alright guys, we're back. It's a new day here. New change of clothes. Justin is back again.
What's up, guys?
We did make a little progress last night without you. It got pretty dark, had to stop filming, so I'll just give you a quick update here. We do have the frame plates welded on, and then we have the actual 4x4 welded onto that. So you can see here, I've got weld here. I still need to weld the entire bottom. We got the other side done as well. Looks pretty much the same. I also need to weld the top, so we're gonna pull this all off, and I'm gonna try and get a bead underneath there, so there's a little bit of top there as well. The last thing we need to do is cut out one more plate to cover the holes and just add the extra strength that we need, and then we should be pretty close to done. I do have this D-ring here that I plan to weld on here in the middle as a toe point, so that'll be nice. So we need to paint and weld that as well. We've made a little more progress here. You can see we've welded at least some stitch welds along the top, so that will help with pulling it down. That was kind of weird to weld because this is super thin and this is not, and then there was a gap for most of it, and if you burned through it all it would shoot dirt down in there, but I think it came out okay, all things considered. So next is we're gonna grind down the edges here, because there is a bit of an edge from the actual unibody to the bumper. So, and I want to plate this, so I don't want to have a gap there. So we're gonna grind that down a little bit just so it's flush, and then we'll make some plates for the edges. So we have the edge of this welded down, or we have the edge of this ground down, and now Justin's gonna make a template here to patch or to cover this.
Alright, so what we're doing is just gonna line up this piece of cardboard here, and I'm just gonna draw lines on the back side of this when I line it up, so it's square. Doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm gonna flip it over here. I'm gonna make it into a point. So that's roughly where it's gonna be. And I'm just gonna go here. That's roughly what it's gonna look like.
Very nice. All right, thought I'd show you the progress here. We got this plate here cut out. You can see the nice little arrow there. I started by tacking the four corners on here because I knew this was flat. And then obviously there was a gap right here from the weld, because remember we welded a vertical bead here for the actual bumper. And so I just used a C-clamp here to suck it down nice and tight. It's just 1/8 inch, so you can bend that pretty easily with a C-clamp. And now it's time to burn it in. I have this plate welded on completely. Looking pretty good. I haven't decided if I'm gonna ground these edges completely smooth yet. I'm not sure yet. Got the other plate marked out right there. Still needs to be cut out. That's for this side. And I got the entire bottom seam all welded across. I think that came out pretty good. That took forever. this frame plate done now. Bumper's all capped off. I've decided I'm not gonna grind these welds down. I kind of like the look of the welds being there. They didn't turn out awful, so you know, whatever. I'll show them off, I guess. All that's really left to do now is weld on my D-ring here, or shackle, whatever you want to freaking call it. You can see I've measured end to end and found the center point here. Now I just need to basically weld that on. And there you have it. Looking pretty good. We got our D-ring welded on. Those welds came out decent. Only thing left to do now is paint it. Let me tell you, it is amazing what a coat of paint will do. It looks way better than we thought it was going to. I'm very happy with it. It's nice and tight up against the hatch. I gained ground clearance. It's got to be stronger than what was there before. I don't have to worry about losing my D-ring anymore. And it just looks so much cleaner than it ever has before. So I'm pretty happy with it. All right, that's it for this project. I think it came out pretty good. If you like what you saw, feel free to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.